Yo, Savvy Gang, it's your boy Savage, and I want to say um, welcome. Today, well, in 2 minutes, in 2 minutes, I am about to turn uh, 10,020. No, I'm about to be 38 years old, so I decided that I wanted to bring in my birthday, not partying, not smoking, not drinking. You know, I decided that this year I wanted to bring in my birthday with you, with my gang, with my family, with my soul tribe. And I definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you being here. Appreciate the birthday wishes. Appreciate the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your prayers. Um, but yeah, it's the big 3-8 for me, chapter 3-8. And I did, not to say I didn't do anything. This past weekend, I did do a few things. Let's just say Houston owes me nothing. I had a great time. So, but I don't, like, as I get older, I'm learning, like, everything don't gotta be a picture moment. Everything don't gotta be a video moment. Sometimes it's good just to enjoy the moment while you're there and not focusing on trying to get the right angle and, the right moment. And you wind up missing the whole entire, moment because you focus on trying to get the right angle and trying to get the right, moment. So, no. And then I went by myself too. So, it's like, it's that old saying, um, don't, well, no witnesses. When you go by yourself, then, ain't no witnesses. So, don't nobody know what I did, for real, for real. But, I mean, I ain't do nothing. I didn't even go out. I didn't go to no clubs or nothing like that. I'm starting to get too old for that stuff. But that don't mean that I'm not, you know, um, totally out of going out and doing something, because I'm not dead. I'm still gonna live my life. I'm still gonna do me. The Most High has bountiful things in store for me. Um, has blessings laid up in store for me, and I know that I'm going to be receiving everything that He has in store for me. This chapter will be a great chapter because I'm bringing it in with you, right? So, definitely want to thank you. And today, I had to do this because this, out of my book that I have been reading out of, this is my favorite part. This is my absolute favorite part to talk about. And it's titled The Real Exodus Route That Israel Took. The real children of Israel, who are the Negroes, the natives, and the Latinos of today, especially the Negroes. The Negroes are from the tribe of Judah. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we are 3 minutes. We are 3 minutes into, the next day. It's 12:03 a.m. So happy birthday to me. Happy born day to me. And I appreciate you kicking it with me on my birthday. So thank you. And I hope y'all had a blessed day. I Hope everything was good for y'all today. Alright, so this is going to be titled The Real Exodus Route That Israel Took by your boy Yakana Fitz Savage. Alright, so if you claim the parting of the Red Sea never occurred during the exodus of the Hebrew Israelites, why was the successor of Ramses II his 13th son, according to history and archaeology? Was it because Ramses II and his remaining 11 sons died in the Red Sea pursuing the liberated Hebrews? You know they found chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea, right? You do know that, right? Okay. Oh yeah. So let me show y'all. In this lesson, it's gonna be a lot of this, cause I got a lot of pictures. But that's the title, and then let me see. Let's see. Crossing that Nueva into Arabia. So, and this right here, this is what I'm talking about. This is 61 pages alone. So, bear with me. All right. So, Merneptah or Marenta was the fourth ruler of the 19th dynasty of ancient Egypt. He may have been born in 1273 BC, ruling Egypt for almost 10 years from late July or early August 1213 BC until his death on May 2nd, 1203 BC, according to contemporary historical records. 2. He was the 13th son of Ramses II. 3. And only came to power because all his older brothers, including his full brother Kamewase or Kamewase, had died. And then I give a link here where you can read more on Marenta. Psalms 136, verse 13. To him which divided the Red Sea into parts, for his mercy endureth forever, and made Israel to pass through the midst of it, for his mercy endureth forever. But overthrew Pharaoh and his hosts in the Red Sea, for his mercy endureth forever. They will do anything to try and discredit the Bible, which is why I post so hard on Facebook. This generation of Negroes thinks that they are Egyptians, laugh out loud. This ideology of Negroes thinking they are Egyptian is actually quite funny when you know your word, and I'm blessed to know his word. Our people want to be everyone else but who we truly are, Hebrew. They don't want to deal with the Bible because the Bible condemns sodomy, pagan idol worship, worshiping of other gods, alcoholism, all practices used in these forms of manufactured religions. Satan uses the same trick in all religions and cultures, simply just different names. He is Kronos to the Greeks. What I can't stand about Egyptology and Pan-African movement and the Pan-African movement is not the doctrines themselves, but some of the people who teach the doctrines. Some of the people that teach in the conscious community really try to deny the validity of my people and our history. 70 souls walked into Egypt. They were Hebrew, but in Kemet they will be known as Hibiru or Hyksos, the Shepherd Kings. While I'm on the topic of Black Hebrew Israelites, I do want to point out I do know the correct term. I just use the terms Hebrew Israelite, Judah for edifying purposes. Everyone will know the term Hebrew Israelite. I try not to use Black Hebrew Israelite because, one, we are not black. Even Bernie Mac and dark people like him are not black. Yes, we joke around and say stuff. He black as night, or he's so black at night you can only see his eyes and teeth. But we are not black. We are dark brown. Truth be told, dark skin is actually protection from the sun. That dark, beautiful skin keeps black people from getting skin cancer. The correct term to describe my people who are the true Jews is Ibri. I am a descendant of Eber. I have this info in a few places in the book. I do want my ancestors, my brethren, and my people, the scholars and historians at least, to know that I do know the correct term when it applies to who I am. I just use Hebrew Israelite for teaching purposes. People can relate to and will know what I am saying when I use the term Hebrew Israelite. In the King James Bible, it states Abraham the Hebrew. Genesis 14, verse 13, King James Version. The Hebrew word for Hebrew is Ibri. Patronymic from H5677, Eber and Eberite, an example, Hebrew or descendant of Eber. Ibri denotes the descendants of the biblical patriarch Eber, Hebrew, son of Salah, a great grandson of Noah and an ancestor of Abraham, hence the Eberites. And let me tell you this, if 70 people, Hebrews, walked into my country, Egypt, saved me and my people because their Father in heaven told them to tell me to prepare for a great famine, I will be grateful to those people. A famine that has been recorded in Kemet history, which resulted in the foreign nation in my land becoming a great nation that I tried to destroy. I tried to destroy them by slavery and throwing their children to crocks, but failed miserably. And then on top of failing, my people, if I was an Egyptian pharaoh, had to give the foreign nation who built my pyramids and cities of gold, all our cattle, grains, basically everything because they are leaving in a mass exodus, I would try to write them out of my history books as well. I would hate these people and would not ever speak of their existence. Glad I'm not Kemet or Egypt. Laugh out loud. I am a Hebrew Israelite or Eberite to be correct. My father is very real. He sank a whole Egyptian army and their chariots are still being pulled from the Red Sea. My ancestors crossed the Red Sea in the Gulf of Aqaba at Nueva, Egypt, into Saudi Arabia. Jabal al-Laws is the true Mount Sinai where the law was given. The mountain is still burned black till this very day. And everything that I'm talking about, I'm going to show you. The mountain is still burned black to this very day. You know, they found the stone that was split in half and enough water came out to quench the thirst of over 2 million Hebrews. It's a lake to this very day. People can believe a lie if they want, but just know history and archaeology back what the Bible is saying. The truth is available to everyone. They found the stump to the Tower of Babylon, even. In judgment, I did not know will not work. Speaking in reference to the so called pastors of the black Christian church. Because that's who my book, um, so originally this started out as a little report. My book, it started out as a little report that I was doing because I come from a big Christian family, but the Christian family that I come from, they make the green leaves. That Tyler Perry show, the green leaves, they make that family look like angels. So I always joke and say I got a few lady maids in my family, and they Christians. The type of people that can sit up and cuss you out, talk about you, spread your business, you know what I'm saying? But then let you say anything or let alone defend yourself. Oh, you're the villain. You're wrong, and this and that. That's the type of family that I come from. But I come from a small city, and pretty much everybody know everybody. Toledo, Ohio, and so it's a lot of churches in the area, and the family that I come from is pretty known in the city because of my grandfather. My grandfather was a great man. He started a soup kitchen ministry, and that's still going to this very day. But yeah, man, it's like in my city, it's like 10 churches within a 2 to 3 block radius, even. But don't none of them really come together in fellowship, you know? Um, since I, you know, grown up and gotten older, um, violence has increased, the neighborhoods have become worse. But how? If you have 10 churches within the 3 block radius, and they all go to church on Sundays talking about this love of Christ that they allegedly have, but somehow they can't seem to come together to do anything for the community. And I was watching a show recently, and they was talking about tithes, and they was talking about all the scams concerning tithes. I've talked about all of this stuff. I've talked about I have lessons on my page. My stance has never changed. My stance has never changed. I've never changed what I've said from 2014 all the way up until 2025. I've been telling you that tithes is food. It's food according to scripture. I don't care what your pastor say. I don't care what your bishop say. What do the scriptures say? The scriptures say that it's food. Matthew 23 and 23. Those are spices. When they try to get you with the whole, robbing God, they was bringing maimed like animals, sickly animals, which is meat, and they was bringing vegetables that, like, okay, you know how, like, for instance, when you go to pick your fruit, let's say you get an apple, but the apple got, like, how sometimes the apple might have a nick in it or whatever. Well, you definitely not supposed to bring that to the Most High. The apple supposed to be shiny, baby. It's supposed to be shiny. I'm just using that as an example. You know, so it's talking about food. They had a monetary system back then. It was called shekels. It was a coin, okay, and they also used talents. That was a measurement. That was a measurement of weight, I believe. But they had a monetary system back then. And you will not find nowhere in the Bible where it's saying give 10% of your income. That's changing the word of God right there. So, I've never changed. You know, I get a lot of flack because I call these people out on their doctrines. You know, a lot of them, they can't explain how they get 3 days and 3 nights from Friday to Sunday. And so they'll try to gaslight me, and to people, they'll try to gaslight, oh, he don't believe in Christ. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. I'm asking you to explain. You know how when your teacher think you done cheated, so the teacher wants you to explain the work? How did you get to this? How did you get to this equation? Can you explain that? How did you get here? And that is where, that's the part that you don't see, you know. And I'm not liked, so, you know, naturally those people are going to take those people's side. And it's not even about taking sides, because it really shouldn't be. This is what the scriptures are saying. This is what the scriptures are saying. And that's why a lot of people, they're so ready to condemn one community, but they don't even realize you're going to be sitting in the same boat that you have placed these people in. Because, oh yeah, you so holy, but you're going to church on the wrong day. I've shown you proof from what the Catholic Church have said. All of these are in my videos. All of this stuff is on my Facebook. I've shown you proof. I've shown you proof how these people, T.D. Jakes, Creative Flow of Dollars, Paula White, I've talked about all these people in my videos. I've shown you. Joyce Jokerface Myers. I've done the video. I've shown you. My stance has never changed. At the end, you ain't gonna be able to say, well, I didn't know. No, it was available. But you either didn't like the messenger, or you was too busy trying to see who was gonna win the NBA finals, or you was too busy trying to see what was going on with the NFL draft, or you was too busy watching First 48 or Maury's or Love and Medicine and all these filthy shows that show our people in a bad light. That's what you was concerned with. That's why you can't that's why you don't know anything. That's why your pastor can't explain to you how Iran plays a role in the destruction of America. They can't. All these people, and that's what be like really getting me, man. Like all these people, man, they be claim to be the authority of the Bible and stuff like that, or you can't tell them nothing, you know, and they can't even tell you, they don't even know that China is Magog in the Bible. They can't tell you, they can't trace none of these. All these people have children. All these biblical characters have children in the land today. Esau ain't extinct. The zeal is there, but the knowledge is not. And see, a lot of people, what I know about people, see, a lot of people, they'll just go to that building. They're going to sit there, you know, listen to whatever he got to say. They ain't going to question nothing. See, them the type of people they like. They don't like people like me that's going to question. And then when we had this conversation in private, because of course they don't want me to have it in front of you, because then you are going to find out, dang, Pastor really don't know his word like I thought. Because I have placed Pastor on a pedestal. That's where the congregation is wrong. You know, you you put these men on a pedestal, and it's because you don't know you don't know as much as you think that they know. But see, what I know is they don't know nothing. They know what their daddy told them, or they went to some um, white seminary theologian and they learned from Esau. Jacob learned from his enemy. Seminary theologian teachers are indoctrinated by the Roman Catholic Church, Satan's church. I've been telling you this for years. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be it's gonna be bad for you, because it's like it doesn't it doesn't it doesn't affect me that you don't want to believe what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is going to happen regardless whether you believe it or not. I just uploaded a video not too long ago that showed that I was talking about Iran being brought into this back in 2021, probably even before that. I've showed the post on my Facebook. I've been talking about this stuff. But see, in my family, it's all about the prestige. It's all about, you want to be known for being intelligent. You want to be received well. And I don't know why, because these people that, you know, um, they want to be seen in good esteem in the eyes of, they want to be seen in good esteem by these people, and I'm talking about my family, you know. But these people ain't, baby, no. Okay, we talking about men who want to be honored, but they have kids over here, kids over there, not never faithful to their wife, along things along those lines. So I could care less, and as I get older, it's like I can no longer deny what I knew since I was a child, that I am gifted, that I am different. I am very different, but there's a light in me. And a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people, it's like they didn't want me to find out that I had that light. No, how can you? And that's like, you're dumb. I knew that I had this light when I was a child. I was born with this light. Like, how? I mean, the light isn't, how don't the person who the light is in know that they got the light? That's pretty dumb, don't you think? I would think so. So yeah, a lot in my family, a lot of people like my cousins and stuff, they want to be seen as, important, but or they want to be seen as like they know something, but it's like, you know nothing. You know nothing. You know what you've heard. This, this right here, this right here. I've researched this. Okay, this started from 50 pages, and today, it's 1,441 pages of me typing like my aunt Juanita used to type on the typewriter. We all have gifts. We all have a place in the body, but You know, everybody is not born with the gifts that I have, and everybody is not meant to uh, be where I am in the body. Let's just say it like that. And it is what it is. And it's not like they didn't have a chance. The Most High had been looking for a representative for my family for a long time. For a long time. But nobody would listen. Nobody would listen. Nobody cared. Okay? These is natives. These are native people that celebrate Thanksgiving. Natives. Knowing the history, they don't care. They still celebrate it. Oh, it's about giving thanks to God. No, it's not. Because if you wanted to give thanks to God, you would do what the Most High said. You would follow his feast and you would follow his holy days. You definitely would not celebrate a day that is commemorating the slaughtering of your ancestors, your and my ancestors, our ancestors. And it's like when you hit them with logic, it's like you're the bad guy. I had a cousin, his name was Vic. God rest his soul, rest in peace. That's my guy, man. And they would, argue him, call him all kind of names, stuff, get mad at him, because he would tell them, like, y'all phony. And I agree. I agree, you know. But anyway, I done got off into a whole little tangent, but well, not even a tangent. I'm just speaking because there's no bitterness or there's no malice. I'm just telling the truth, telling it how it is. That's kind of why I'm here. That's kind of why I'm the black sheep in my family, because I tell the truth and I'm not gonna hold your hand, because nobody was here to hold my hand but the Most High. So hopefully the Most High will be with you to hold your hand, because you gonna need it. But anyway, I have been talking about the phoniness and the false doctrines within the black Christian church. Okay? Like, just go through my videos. Start with the tithes. Look at the speaking in tongues. I give you the whole history of the Pentecostal church. Tell you about how they used to handle snakes in the church. I give you all the tea. In the end, when people stand before the Most High, you're not going to be able to say, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. No, it was there. But all you cared about was slamming your back on the stage for clout. That's what you cared about. You care about learning just a little bit about a piece of culture so you can go bring it to a stage, so you can try to present and win money and clout for it. That's exploitation to me. But but anyway, I hope, because I do be seeing people talk, and it's no malice from me, or no heat from me, no smoke from me. I'm just saying, I be seeing people talk, and they talk like I was watching a show previously, and they had a whole conversation about tithes. It's just like, the information is out here. I definitely wouldn't watch TBN. I talked about them too. Like I said, I talked about Paula Not So Pure White. I talked about all of them. TBN is part of the Illuminati. Anytime you be seeing them little white doves and them cross with them shields and stuff like that, man, all that's Illuminati. You know, it's a money grab. So, like I said, in judgment, I did not know when I worked, speaking in reference to the so-called pastors of the Black Christian Church, because that's who this lesson, it started out as a report and it turned into this book. But that's who a lot of my lessons was for anyway. It wasn't really for the people that's sitting in the pews, because I already know that you don't read your Bibles at home. They've done studies on this. There's been studies done on this. Only 30% of people, of Christians, read their Bibles at home. You should see some of these studies to see what people believe. How are you a Christian, but you don't believe in the Bible? Are you dumb? You gotta be. How are you a Christian and you don't believe that God, like these are like the Bible is the word of God? Like, my mind is just blown by that. Like, what are you here for? Like, are you dense? But that's why I do stuff like this, because this is what these pastors in this church should have been doing. Okay? Because today's generation, we don't go with the whole, well, this is the way my daddy did it, and this is the way I'm gonna do it, so you know, just do as I say, not as I do. No, that worked on you. That don't work on us. That don't work on us. That's why the church have lost a lot of youth, because you bring no factual information. And it's there. It's there. He said, "Seek me and you will find me." And from what I have studied and what I've learned, and today, from what I know, it ain't a whole lot of seeking going on. Even at these higher levels, these people, and they get over on people with the $50 line, and oh, Psalms 115. So, I feel in my spirit that, everybody need to sow a seed of 150. That's manipulation. That's a scam artist. You're being scammed. That is nowhere, well, actually it is. Those are actions that's going to get those people a swim in the lake. But hey, like I said, these are people who will shun their transgender child, niece, nephew, whatever. But then they will turn around. Listen to this part. Listen to this part. They will turn around and go spend money to support one of the biggest ones. Spending money on his plays, on the tickets for the plays. You will shun your family member, your transgender family member, to go support a drag queen. And I'm not talking about RuPaul. I've never gotten I never got that at all. But anyway, many people had the chance to learn and know, but they thought they knew it all. And mostly people only listen to people of higher status than themselves, never even considering if they are actually saying what the Bible is saying. TD Mistake or Creative Flow of Dollars or that other one, Jamal Bryant, another one. It's somebody that couldn't even be faithful to his wife, to the first one. And Lord knows, I could care less. But if you're teaching that tithes is money, you're going to church on Sunday, you are celebrating paganism, baby, Target is the least of your worries. Target is the least of your worries. You're going to have to deal with the Most High. And to me, it's nothing but cowardliness because Walmart was the first one to roll back their DEI. Like, these men aren't saying anything about Walmart. Do what you do, but I do want to know, why Target? You know, I would like to know why Target specifically, because Walmart was the first to roll back their DEI. And yeah, it might have had a hit on, a hit on them, but baby, I used to work for a third party through Target, and black folks was still coming up in there every day. It's getting so bad out here with these other stores closing down. Like in my and where I stay alone, up the road they closed one Walmart. They left this Walmart, open down the road, but up the road they closed the one, and then it was the same with Cubs, but vice versa. They kept one club, they kept one Cubs up the road, but then down the road, they got rid of that Cub. So, and it's due to theft, people stealing. So, and that's the same people that was talking about the show that I was watching. The one of the hosts, he always wants somebody to boycott something, to boycott Uber, to boycott. Sir, are you gonna stop celebrating European paganism? I'm sorry, not even European, because they're not European. Are you gonna stop celebrating cave dwellers paganism? Jamal Bryant, are you going to be celebrating Christmas? Because that's a lie. Christ was not born December 25th. Christ was born the last week in September during the Feast of Tabernacles. You should know that. Christ was placed in the tomb on Saturday and he rose on Tuesday. That's 3 days and that's 3 nights. They don't like to talk about that because then that blows holes in their Sunday worship deception. It's right in your face, in your Bibles. The Most High said, go to church on the last day of the week. 6 days shall you work and do labor, but the 7th day is holy. You can look at your calendar right now. Sunday is the first day of the week. It's right in your face. And what I've come along and I've done is I've gathered the evidence from Satan's church, the Roman Catholic Church, to show you this is why you're in church on Sunday. And guess who they got mad at? They got mad at me. I'm like, what? I didn't say this. Like, I didn't say this. This is what the Roman Catholic Church has said. So, but yeah, these people are, they want to be so black power, but very ignorant when it comes to the true knowledge about the identity of our people. Very ignorant. That's why people get scammed. That's why people are given thousands of dollars. And some people are doing it because they know what they do in their personal lives, and they trying to subtly pay their way or pay their sins. They feel like their money can pay their sins. And you are sadly mistaken, because tithes was never money. And if you knew what I know, baby, within 2 minutes I can tell you if a man really know his word or not. 2 minutes. Basic stuff. And I'm not no super biblical nothing. No. I'm not saying that I am. But baby, it's not hard. Because people really don't read their Bibles at home. They don't do the research. Oh, they'll sit up and hallelujah. Yes, study to show thyself approved. But they ain't doing it. They ain't doing it. And then when somebody comes along who has done it, it's just like, okay, you in a book club, right? And I'm sure if you like to read, yeah. If you've ever been in a book club, I'm sure you've come across those characters. There's always one in a group who don't read the book. It's like, why are you here? You don't read the books. Why are you here? And you're paying to be here. Waste of money. But they won't read the book, right? And if you have read the book, because maybe you actually liked it, things that you just know things because you've read the book. Well, they don't know nothing. And when you have that conversation with them, you'll be able to tell, like, hey, you ain't read this book. That's how it is for me. That's how it is for me. When I first started out and I had these conversations with these pastors, man, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, bro. I cried, like, cause I'm like, I didn't want to believe it, like, all my life, like, you came off so authentic, and like, but you really don't know. You really don't know, and that's okay. That's okay, cause some are sincere, but a lot of them are not, and that's why they get the attitude from me that they get, because I know that they're not sincere, and they're in their pride, they're in their ego, and you are flat out wrong. You're flat out wrong. You can't tell me nothing when you bringing a whole abomination up in your house. The Christmas tree is an abomination. It's an idol. Jeremiah 10:1-6. Read it. You tell me what it's describing. Then that's when everybody want to act dumb. Everybody want to get dumb all of a sudden. Oh, like they don't know that Christmas trees are, I've had some conversations where grown men that's older than me, bro. Growing up, I looked up to you, like, and now you sitting up here acting like you 5, 6 years old, like, oh, I don't know, and it's like you don't know what this is talking about. What are they decking? What have we been decking? Decking the halls. What I mean, Oh, then I had to come to the realization, like, oh well, see, I guess I must have been privileged coming up because we always had a real Christmas tree. One no fake Christmas trees. We always had a real Christmas tree. Now I have to pour water in the bottom of the red little thing, and you have to, screw the things in to fasten it. All of that is described in Jeremiah 10:1 through 6. It's like, I know what I did as a kid. I've been doing this since I was a kid. I know what this is describing. But then the people act dumb, like they don't know, like, oh, this is describing a Christmas tree. Oh, I'm not aware of that, so I gotta run this by my pastor, because I don't know. It's like, how don't you know? Like, you don't know what this is describing. Okay, be dumb. Anyway, like I said, many people had the chance to learn and know, but they thought they knew it all, and most people only listen to people of higher status than themselves. And the Most High don't work like that all the time. Not saying that he can't. Not saying that he can't give, some um, celebrity pastor like TD Mistake or Creator Flow of Dollars. Not saying he can't give them a word, but oftentimes it don't work like that because they heart not in that. They out to get money. Because if they did, they would have been telling you that them people over in Israel are imposters. And TD Mistake is an Igbo Jew, knowing that he did the research and everything. So that's your proof right there. They're not about the people, just like these celebrities, just like Diddy. He get up when he don't get his way with the Grammys. Oh yeah, we gotta come together and, you know, hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. Then look today. Look at how he's doing his own people. He don't care. No, none of them do. Never even considering if they are actually saying what the Bible is saying. TD Mistake or Creative Flow of Dollars will never tell you this information. They are too busy taking your money. A lot of people think that the Most High uses these mega pastors, but He is always testing us. He will send someone you would least expect. You would least expect. It might even be in reference to church. One of the church members that you pastor. He does this to see if people will listen. He knows our people will listen to the white man over anyone from our own race unless they are a celebrity. This is also proof we are the Israelites. We were the same way back in Noah's time. The same way. He tried to warn his people, and what did they do? His own people laughed at him and even mocked him. It wasn't funny when our disobedient ancestors died in the flood, though. The party was over when that rain started to pour, and it will be the same way coming soon. Can you imagine the screams from Noah's cousins, family, and friends as they begged and clawed to get into that ark? All Noah could say was, "It's nothing I can do. An angel has shut me in," meaning God slammed the door in the people's face. That's another thing. See, they don't, with the Christians, they don't be one to accept when God be doing stuff. They want to blame, oh, it's the devil. No, God did this. God slammed the door in your face. They don't like to acknowledge that side of God. See, Christians are fake to me because you only acknowledge one side of the Most High, and a lot of your relationships are one-sided. It's all about what He can do for you, but you know very little about the Most High, very little about Christ. I I can't tell you how many times I've actually talked to pastors that did not even know that Christ had brothers and sisters. Why are you teaching? So, all Noah could say is nothing I can do. An angel has shut me in, meaning God slammed the door in the people's face. One of my family members said it was my aunt. One of my family members, my aunt, who has a pastor for a daughter, but their ministry is trash. They are. And so, but one day, one of my family members said, I don't read what he posts. I stopped reading a long time ago. Like, that is supposed to hurt my feelings. This was the same aunt, right? Who also, in the same breath, told me, yeah, coming up, we didn't even read the Bible. But because I'm speaking out, they have a problem with it. But it's like, how do you know if what I'm saying is real or not? Because you said out your own mouth that coming up, y'all didn't even read the Bible. And it's true. Baby, I come from some of the that in front of you, they gonna try to make it seem like they these holy rollers, but another aunt, she will get full and be coming out of the parties with the condom still stuck in her. But hey, at least she was using condoms. I guess, But it is what it is. But yeah, she gonna say, I don't read what he posts. I stopped reading a long time ago. Like that's supposed to hurt my feelings. It's like your food also stopped being good a long time ago too, but hey, I digress. The same ones who never believed in me will be the same ones. Oh, that's my son. That's my brother. That's my nephew. That's my cousin. Knowing they hated me and would not even like a post on my Facebook. My response, who was the fake one? Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. No thanks, I'll pass. Don't run back to only be turned into ash. 95% of my family never supported me. Never supported me. And did things to try to block me. Did things to try to soil my reputation, you know. But it was all on the back end. So yeah, 95% of my family never supported me. And that's okay. I just want them to keep that same energy when they see me shining. They didn't support me because I tell the truth, saying what the Bible actually says while their pastor is desperately trying to be the next Joel Queen and failing miserably, might I add. Because ministries are supposed to move forward. They're not supposed to move in with each other. They're supposed to progress. They ain't supposed to move in with each other. Remember, ministries move forward, not moving in with another. I don't get upset when people unfollow me or don't read what I post. Here's why. The way I see it is their blood is off my hands, and in judgment, they will not be able to say, I did not know. I have been saying this. What if I am right? What will they do in judgment? Also, the same family member had already told me previously that when they were growing up, she did not read the Bible. They just knew to go to church on Sunday, whether they were hungover or still high from the night before. Verbatim, I kid you not. So, not trying to be disrespectful. Well, that's what I wrote at that time, but now I don't give a damn. But why should I care if people who admit they are not even learned in the Bible, going to church drunk and high, read what I post, or even read this book. Why would I care? If you don't read the Bible, I know you won't read this book. And you know what they say, if you want to hide anything from black people, put it in a book. Even though I grew up in church, pastors on both sides, mom and dad, I never heard the topics or information I am discussing in this book. I spent over 8 years telling my family the truth about Negroes, Natives, and Latinos being the true children of Israel. The information I gave, they would have to pay top dollar in other spaces. My own dad would argue me down, but I never wavered from what I know. He always looked down on me and seen me as lowly, so his thoughts were I could never know anything. I know this from his actions and his words. After a while, he would always say, "Yeah, he knows that history." Gaslighting. He could never give me my credit. He could never say I was right because secretly he has always hated me. See, recently I found out my granddad was a Mason. I believe he may have even reached the 33rd level, but I'm not sure. Well, remember how I kept telling you I have these spiritual gifts that come from the Most High? I found out that I come from a lengthy line of native shamans, and apparently these spiritual gifts are only given to selected members in the family. My grandfather was one of the chosen, and I am chosen as well. Guess who was not chosen? My dad is not chosen to have the spiritual gifts from the ancestors. I think there may have been some jealousy because of this, but oh well. I never asked for none of this. I was just minding my own business. Just like my ancestors, just like my ancestors, the mistreatment that I endured actually was used for my benefit. I don't have children of my own, but I imagine if I did, I would support them. I could never be jealous of my own kids. I could never look down on my own kids, and I would never abandon them. They made it easy, talking about my family, my intermediate family, they made it easy to walk away and never look back. I am proud of myself. Even though I am hard on myself, I do recognize how far I have come. I do recognize my own strength, and overall, I am grateful for everything that I have gone through. Again, my ancestors crossed the Red Sea in the Gulf of Aqaba at Nueva, Egypt, into Saudi Arabia. Jabal al-Laws is the true Mount Sinai where the law was given. The mountain is still burned black to this very day. And what I mean by that is when the Most High came and he hovered over the mountain. He was in a spaceship. He was in a UFO. I know this sounds crazy, but hey, a wheel within a wheel. Remember that. That's what that's talking about, a UFO. Um, he hovered down over that mountain. That mountain is still black to this day, and I'm gonna show you pictures. So, like I said, they found the stone that was split in half, and enough water came out to quench the thirst of over 2 million Hebrews. That was in Exodus 17, King James Version. What I am about to show you next is my favorite part of this whole lesson. I always say, this is how I like to learn the Bible. It's a shame. It's a shame to sit in a building for 10 plus years and never learn what I know. This next part of the lesson focuses on the true crossing of the Red Sea location and where the real Mount Sinai is located. The lying seminary theologian teachers, brought and paid for by the Roman Catholic Church, lied about where our ancestors crossed the Red Sea. They they've also lied about the location of Mount Sinai. These people went to great lengths to keep our history hidden from us. The modern borders of Israel are much smaller than the original ancient borders of Israel. Neither the land nor the people there are original. Like I said, you can pause this if you want to read it. Another reason why Amesica is being judged. I ain't said nothing. Charging bull, sometimes referred to as the Bull of Wall Street or the Bowling Green Bull, is a bronze sculpture that stands on Broadway just north of Bowling Green in the financial district of Manhattan in New York City. The 7,100-pound bronze bronze sculpture standing 11 feet 3.4 meters tall and measuring 16 feet 4.9 meters long depicts a bull, the symbol of financial optimism and prosperity. Charging Bull is a popular tourist destination that attracts thousands of people a day, symbolizing Wall Street and the financial district. The sculpture was created by Italian artist Arturo de Modica in the wake of the 1987 Black Monday stock market crash. You cannot act like you don't see the similarities between what happened in the past with our people sacrificing to devils and how the current system in Amesica is set up today. It's no coincidence that these devils chose a bull as the idol for Wall Street. Even if you get into um, the zodiac signs, uh, the bull is represented by, um, them things. They start with a T. I don't even like to, um, but they are all about financial and and wealth and stuff like that. Many of them be prostitutes, but they are about the money. So, isn't it? It's not a coincidence, that the bull represents. So, but anyway, like I said, it's no coincidence that these devils chose a bull as the idol for Wall Street. This country is riddled with idols such as the Statue of Liberty, the St. Louis Arch, I'm sorry, DC Pentagon, the Washington Monument, and the Hollywood sign, which is a portal, to name a few. Oh, yes, and the Baphomet statue that is said to be housed in Salem, Massachusetts, but loves to make random appearances in Detroit and somewhere in Arkansas. If you could see the way I rolled my eyes, lol. These idols, such as the Statue of Liberty, the St. Louis Arch, DC Pentagon, the Washington Monument, which is that obelisk thing it's supposed to represent a penis. The obelisk, when you see those little tall little things, those little skinny little with the point, it's supposed to represent a penis. But oh yes, these idols, such as the Statue of Liberty, the St. Louis Arch, DC Pentagon, the Washington Monument, and the Hollywood sign portal, trap the conjured up evil deities that are summoned up onto this plane somehow. What's happening in modern time is people are seeing these magic spells on TikTok. Do a love spell, attract wealth, and they're doing them. What's sad is kids are coming across and doing these spells. The veil between worlds, heaven and earth, life and death, and other alternative realities is very thin. These spells are opening up portals for demonic entities to cross over. This is one reason why things are getting worse in this country. These people that are doing these spells can't close these portals because they are unlearned in magic. If they were learned in their craft, they would know that they don't have the power to close a portal. Only the Most High does. See, they just wanted the love. They just wanted the love of or money. They just wanted the love or money, but they are unaware of how they will have to sacrifice something, their or a loved one's life and or freedom in return. They are also unaware of how they are opening up spiritual portals that they cannot close. These entities can be very deceptive, and people fall for their scams every day. They offer material things or a promise of power, but they don't tell you about the fine print. I imagine today, with people being so desperate, even if these entities did show people the fine print, people will still sell out. I plan to speak more about this on another project I am working on. I just wanted to get the history of my people, Negroes, Natives, and Latinos, who are the real children of Israel, out first. Like I said, my God, Ahaya Ashar Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya Wa Rawak Kwadesh, comes first, and this is my testament to them. And like I said, the Most High's name is not Yahweh, it's not Jehovah. I've already done videos on that. You can go watch if you like. But the name that he gave to Moses at Exodus 3 verse 14 is, they gave you the meaning of his name, I am that I am. But the actual name is Ahaya Ashar Ahaya. That means I am that I am. Bahashem, when I said Bahashem, in the name of Yeshaya. Yeshaya is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. When Christ walked the earth, there were no letter J's. So he definitely wasn't calling himself Jesus. Okay? And we have the name Jesus today. But if you was born back in the 1600s, if you go get a Bible, a King James version, 1611, you will not find Jesus there because that name didn't exist at that time. So, his name is Yeshaya, and that's Hebrew for my Savior, and that comes from the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know who the sons of Zadok, you know, they created the Essenes, and you know. So, and then Rawak, Quadesh, the Holy Spirit, who is the Mother Spirit. They come first, and this is my testament to them. What we are witnessing in America today is the end of one wicked, I just added that word, wicked regime. America was used as a bully for the imposter Jewish elite bankers to invade other nations and take their gold/resources. Start with the Balfour Declaration, which was a scam. That was when America and Britain came together and placed those imposters over there in that land in 1948. And like I said, they've been placed in the land before that too, you know. But I'm specifically talking about that time and onward. Ever since the imposters have been placed in the false state of Israel, there has been nothing but war. It ain't started. There have been nothing but a plague for the world. This is what I don't get about people who claim to be so holy, claim to read their Bible every day, and can tell everyone how to act, but can't no one tell them anything. I don't get how they didn't come across Isaiah 2, verses 1 through 4, or Micah 4, verses 1 through 3, King James Version. Ever since the imposters have been in the false state of Israel, there has been nothing but war. And do we really want to learn any of their ways? That's rhetorical. It seems like America is their God because they got all their weaponry from America. They are not even playing victim anymore. Now the imposters are outright starting stuff with other nations. An example, Iran. I have been telling you how dumb being in office and the actions that he is taking will be the downfall of the white man. One thing that we can all relate to is how we have either been bullied or heard a story about how a bully got their karma. The other nations will band together against the biggest bully, America, in the sandbox. God is doing this. The Most High is doing all of this. And the fact that you are not learning this on Sunday is very sad. Now, let me get back to the current topic, which is showing you archaeological evidence of my ancestors' exodus from Egypt. I always say that this very topic that I'm telling you about is my absolute favorite topic to talk about. I'll never forget when I first learned this information. I was amazed and felt honored to be chosen. We make time for what we love, and this is what I love, hence this book. I know that the Most High is real, and He gave me a mission. While people were slamming their backs on a runway for clout, to look down on others to make themselves feel better about their hollow spirit, gossiping about celebrities who could care less about them, having sex in dark rooms amongst 400 other people, selling their souls for trinkets, claiming to be of God but producing filthy TV shows that show our people in a bad light. I was studying to show myself approved. Boom. Remember how I was telling you how the mountain is still burned black from today? Well, this look, see that black tip? That's what I'm talking about. Still there to this day. They have this whole area like tapered off, like trying to get close so y'all can even read the text on the picture. Look at the split rock. Concluded that all dates of early Egyptian history were wrong and too old by hundreds of years. There was a reason for that, and it's got to do with a bastard named Manetho, and I'm going to talk about him um, in a minute here. But he's the reason for all that confusion. Drawings from our ancestors. I told y'all. Do you see how they have it gated off? They have this area gated off because supernatural stuff happens there. I'm talking about like for real, bro. Like supernatural stuff happens there. Like God is preserving this place. Um, but I know you see, I know you see the gate. You can see it. But yeah, they have this whole area that I'm talking about. Jabal all laws. Okay, this area that I'm talking about, they have it gated, and it's a reason for that because the Most High won't even let them step on the soil because anytime that they would before they got it gated off, um, the Most High will handle them, meaning they will be dealt with right then and there. So they ended up gating it off, putting a gate around it. I know I keep reverting to Psalms 83 King James Version, but I must reinforce that there is an ongoing conspiracy against the true biblical children of Israel. The elite have gone through great lengths. And when I talk about the elite, I'm talking about the people who run dump. Okay? Because if you can't tell, we was just minding our own business. And then all of a sudden, we entering into something over somebody who started something. So if you can't tell who runs who, this is showing you what's going on in this current administration. The elite have gone through, oh, and it's the imposter bankers, the elite, have gone through great lengths to keep up their lies, even with the most recent depiction of Queen Nefertiti of Egypt. I noticed that there were multiple videos on Facebook showing the fake news of the uncovering of a white Nefertiti. In the comment section, I noticed people of Arab descent claiming Egyptians were not dark skinned nor African, but rather Mid Eastern. Understand this: there is no such thing as a Middle East. And if it is, what is it the Middle East of? The term Middle East came about in the early 1800s. Prior to that date, there were no claims of land being called the Middle East. Arabs, you are not the original Egyptians. Let me repeat that. Arabs, you are not the original Egyptians. You don't come from Egypt, okay? And the original Egyptians were and still are very dark. You can find them in Sudan. All this crap about royalty never went out into the sun is straight garbage. Didn't Pharaoh chase Moses and the Israelites down to the Gulf of Aqaba? That's outside, isn't it? What about when Moses turned the Nile into blood as Pharaoh was sailing down the river? Is that not outside? So stop. You make yourselves look foolish claiming a history that is not yours. Like the old saying says, the writings on the wall. And the Egyptians depicted themselves and their enemies as having black skin. Stop. They also knew what white people look like and drew them on the walls as well. Psalms 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For, lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Salah. There are people in the earth who hate the Most High God. This is my commentary. There are a people in the earth who hate the Most High God. Why? They feel that the Most High chose His people, us, over them. They conspire together, saying, listen, we don't like that God of Israel because that God has a chosen people. But if we can conspire together, we can be under a religion that accepts all people and all behaviors. And we will be looked at as God's chosen people on earth. And they also feel like if they get rid of us, then the Most High will choose them when He come back, because we won't be here. That is their plan, and it is full of Satan. The Bible is an Israelite book, and it tells how Christ will come back and reestablish His kingdom on earth. Who is hidden? The ones who lost their laws, statutes, and commands by way of slavery. We lost our culture, our history, all of that by way of slavery. Verse 4 is the conspiracy, which is what these Gentile nations did with their lives, such as the most recent depiction of Queen Nefertiti of Egypt. In slavery, my ancestors were taught that the Negro is the children of Ham and that we are cursed to serve because of the curse of Moses placed on Canaan. All lies. They continue with religions such as Mormonism, which teaches that people with black skin are cursed, or that at one point in time people had dark skin which evolved into white skin, which is the purest human. Like I said, all lies. While we, the true biblical children of Israel, Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and natives, are living out the curses of Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, and Lamentations, King James Version. The Gentiles teach that Israel and the law was done away with, so the Gentiles can be brought into the fold. All lies. One consent, meaning one world order. And they started that with this government, started that when they sacrificed all those people on 9/11. You could think your government is so pure that they wouldn't do nothing like that, but they did. They did. The people at the time was friends with those Saudis, and it was all a money grab. It was an oil grab. So, who are these people that are conspiring in a confederate government against us? It is a federation with the mindset to destroy the poor people they have enslaved throughout history. The tabernacles of Edom/Edomites, who are the Romans, the Germans, or so-called European powers, who seized Asia Minor/Europe by way of Alexander the Loser. Edom is not from Europe, so please stop telling them to go back to Europe. The original Anglo-Saxons were black. This was already covered in the King James lessons. And you can go watch my videos. I've already posted videos about King James. And I believe it's titled, Will the Real King James Please Stand Up? And so I talk more about what I've just shared here. But moving on, Edom is originally from Mount Seir. I always say the elite put it right in our faces. You thought those insurance commercials with the cavemen were just jokes, didn't you? No, it's no joke. At one point in time, Caucasians lived in the Caucasus Mountains. That's where they come from, the Caucasus Mountains. They eventually intermingled with the Canaanites, who are Africans, and started worshiping the Canaanite deities, Satan. Therefore, Edom's father is Satan. They also mated with the Nephilim, changing their bloodline. And just like their father, they too are full of lies. The white people you see in the royal palace today are not in any way related to the true royal family. The imposters, Elizabeth and Charles' bloodline, come from a family with the last name Wetton. After King James' son, King Charles, both black by the way, died, the imposters' family invaded the true royal families by the way of Oliver Cromwell, and changed their names to fit the lies they wanted the world to believe. How do you go from people with black skin ruling Europe to now in today's time people with white skin ruling? Who are the Ishmaelites? Arabs are Ishmael. So the media makes the world think white Christians and Arab Muslims are at odds with each other, political diversion. But really, the Saudis, the Bush family, and the royal family of England are at the pinnacle of the conspiracy. Their ancestors conspired against the true biblical children of Israel: Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, natives. Since Esau decided to mix his seed with the Africans and Ishmael, one could be led to believe the false doctrine of Esau being Ishmael Arab. Keep in mind, before the mixing occurred, they were all separate bloodlines established at different points in time. Canaan was before Ishmael, who was before Edom. Later, they all intermingled as time went on. Esau and Ishmael knew that one day the true children of Israel, the Negroes, natives, and Latinos, would eventually wake up and start to retrace our steps, starting with the Exodus and Egypt, which is why the elite must keep up the lie that Egyptians were white also. If the truth came out about Egypt being black, then the truth about the slaves being depicted on the walls making bricks as black people will also come out. They will be exposed. World humiliation. And who will want that, right? Judge Judy says it best. When you lie, you have to have a good memory to keep up with your lie. And that's so true. When you lie, you must make up another lie to cover the first lie, and so on. It's like a snowball rolling down the hill effect. With each lie, the situation gets deeper until eventually, boom, exposed.com. So you have the Arabs who own the land and the Romans working together to hide artifacts and move the geographical locations the Bible gives of certain landmarks, such as Mount Sinai. Like I said, they did this in hopes of when we will wake up and go looking for these landmarks the Bible gives, nothing will be there. Their ultimate goal is to try to make us believe nothing in the Old Testament happened, which would make the Bible seem false. They will do anything to discredit the Bible. You have Manetho, his ugly self, who distorted the ancient history slash records of Kemet, Egypt, surrounding our Israel, Negroes, natives, and Latinos, entrance and exodus out of Egypt. You have Esau, Romans, who also stole our records, added and subtracted information, changed dates and times, and they eventually drove out the original dark skinned Ethiopians and Egyptians into Sudan. Edom moved Ishmael, Arabs who are invaders in the land of Egypt today. Edom, with their forked tongues, seduced Ishmael into forgetting they are Arab, all while placing the thought in their head that since future generation of Arabs will be born in Egypt, they now are of the bloodline of Egypt. Lies. What proof do I have of this other than what I just mentioned above? Let's see what the St. Catherine's Monastery is all about. What is a Catholic church doing erected in Egypt, a majority Islamic state? Like I said, you can pause this if you want to read it for yourself. See, Mount Sinai not over here. Mount Sinai is not over here. Mount Sinai is over here. See, they created this false route, but Mount Sinai is over here. That's what this is saying. These pictures. Alright. They, Esau and Ishmael, conspired together to come up with a fictitious location for Mount Sinai. They claim Mount Sinai is in the middle where that satanic St. Catherine's monastery is located. Here's the problem. When you visit that monastery, you will find none of the landmarks described by the Bible. None none of what is listed in scripture, such as the cave of Elijah, certain things that Solomon built that leads directly to the Gulf of Aqaba. What happens when a historian or a believer goes to this false location of Mount Sinai? They would conclude that the Bible must not be real, which is not true. These imposters created a scam in which they rake in millions from tourism. The scam is the trip to the Holy Land. You see it advertised on the Christian channels such as TBN. See, and this reminds me of when I was watching the show when the two hosts was talking about, and the one host who I have love for, she was saying how she had stopped watching the TBN channel, and everything that I'm talking about right now with these fake pastors, and why they back these imposter Jews, and the Holy Land trip that I just talked about here. I'm sure you saw the advertisements on those channels. All of that is linked. They got what's his name, Bruce Jenner, or whatever they want to call him. I'm sorry, I don't. You know, I think he's a whole scam artist. Talking about he lived in history. What truth? He was granted a woman's award for sports, which is ridiculous. But then we'll turn around and, tell his own community that he does not stand in solidarity with them, like, making it seem like he's not one of them. So, he over there at the wailing, at the wailing wall, singing his roast Hashanah, whatever the hell they be saying, which is that's when you see him over there doing that to that wall, ain't none of that in scripture. Ain't none of that in scripture. That wall that they're doing that at, it's not even important. It's not even important. But see, you don't know that because you don't read your Bible at home anyway. So that's why you don't know that. But and then they was shocked because he was over there for their gay pride festivals. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Israel, those imposters over there, they have the biggest gay pride festival every year. Every year they have the biggest pride festival. So that'll let you know that they not the people right there. So these imposters created a scam in which they rake in millions from tourism. The scam is the trip to the Holy Land you see advertised on the Christian channels such as TBN. That whole narrative of the Holy Land is a lie because they lied about certain geographic locations of cities listed in the Bible that hold great significance to the children of Israel, such as Mount Sinai, where we receive the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Who is responsible for moving the real location of Mount Sinai. Alright, so I got about 50 pages more to go, but I also uh, am about to turn it in too. I just wanted to come on here and start this, but it's so crazy because when I first started doing these videos, I had said there was a point where I wanted to be at by my birthday, and this was the point. This was the lesson that I wanted to be on um, by today. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for life. I am grateful that I got out, I got up, and I got away. Got away from people's burdens, got away from people's misery, people trying to dump stuff on me all the time. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of myself. There's nothing wrong with clearing out negative energy. People who just ain't gonna change, and don't want to be better, and then want to hold you back because, or try to hold you back because they don't want to change, or they don't want to see you do better than them. So all we can do is pray for them people. To be honest, I don't even pray for them no more. I don't even pray for them. Whatever comes to them is what comes to them. Because I know no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am going to prosper. I am prospering because I am abundant. I'm blessed and highly favored. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm still here. I'm still here. Looking good as ever, might I add. hmm That's going to be a picture. Oh, man. I don't know. Like, I just felt like in this moment, like, people would try to break your confidence. But it's like, if you can't look at me and tell, baby, you ain't broke nothing. You ain't broke nothing. And you want to know why? Because I know this. I know this stuff. I know where I come from. I know who I am. I know how powerful I am. I know my purpose. Do you know that there are people who go get to their 60s and their 70s, Lord's will, and still never find out their true purpose in life, what they was sent here for, you know, and I know that. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. You know, it is what it is. But anyway, I thank you for your time, for your support, and definitely thank you for the love. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes, and you know, thank you so much. But yeah, I'm about to turn it in, cause look, I ain't capping. I ain't capping. One day y'all gonna learn to trust me. When I say things, I tell the truth. Look, it's 2:31, and I worked today, right? So I did work today. I got off at 4:30, but I was tired, and so I took a nap. And then I got up. Well, first I went to go get me something to eat, and I got me a new watermelon, a seeded watermelon, seeded with the seeds in it. Um, so I did that. Then I came home and I took a nap. And I woke up and put my clothes back on and stuff and came to do the video. I don't know why I always film at night, but that's just me, probably because I work in the day. So, and then right when I get off work, I'll be tired. So I take a nap and then I get back up to film. And so, I don't know why, but it always seemed like I'm filming around this time. Like, I started at midnight. Well, I started at midnight for a reason tonight because I turned 38 today. So like I said, I wanted to bring my birthday in with my soul tribe, with my people, you know. Um, so that's why I started at 12 because normally um, I woke up at 9, so I would have just started like around 9:30 or so. But we gonna get through this. Um, I hope you enjoy the content. I know that it's not, love and hip hop and the Real Housewives of Atlanta and stuff like that. But this learning this information should give you a sense of pride. You know, now you know why they always coming for you. These other races, they always. Now we know why they can't scam me. I'll never forget, man. I was sitting in church. I was sitting at somebody else's church, and they had I don't know, some little system set up where they came and they talked to the people. They went down the whole pew. They skipped over me, and skipped the person that was next to me. And they continued on uh, talking to the people about tithes and giving them uh, their little spiels or slogans or whatever catchphrases they say to get people to give them money. They didn't even come my way. They didn't even bring my way because they already know. So yeah, I urge you, you know, watch the lesson on tithes. Watch the lesson on tithes. I got lessons on corrupt pastors where I'm talking about all these mainstream pastors. I bring receipts. I talk about Jehovah's Witness. I talk about Jehovah's Witnesses. I talk about Mormons. I tell you how they got started. I give you the history of all this stuff. And I ain't asked you for a dime. Remember that. I have not asked you for a dime. So, there's no con in this, because you ain't even paying for it. You go to church, you know, every Sunday and give to a man who might be getting his penis sucked by a young girl or a young boy. With today, where we at today? I mean, got whole sex rings in churches, the congregation defending pedophiles, allowing pedophiles to stay in the church, like that weirdo church down in Florida. So hey, it is what it is. These are the times that we live in, though. But later on today, I don't know. It depends. See, cause here I don't have any uh, family or friends, and I ain't looking for none either. I'm good. But I might take myself out. I might go out, have dinner, and have a drink. Cause like I said, I kicked it this past weekend, And my birthday is on a Wednesday, so what do? You but nope, no partner, no friends. To so it's just me, and I like it that way. I'm not saying that I ain't opposed, but to meeting anyone, but no, it was just today how people are. I'm good, you know. So yeah, man. If I do decide that I want to take myself out and have a drink or whatever, because I don't drink, so the chances are me doing that, I might just go out and I might order a drink and might just sit it on and just let it sit there, just to say I did. um, but after that, I might, come back and finish this, or at least finish what I can for the next. Who knows? But anyway, don't let people stop your shine. People are damaged out here. They hurt and they want to be miserable to you. And it's just all, you got people out here that can't take accountability for their actions. And so they'll try to turn it around on you and make it seem like you are the bad person. But what I can tell you is these people are not God. You are not God. I am not God. But one thing I can say, everything that's done in the dark is going to come to the light. Everything. Everything that gets done in the dark comes to the light. Eventually. And you might get over on one person, but then the next person you go and do this to, it might just blow up. And then all them people that you got over on in the past, they might be stepping up to say, hey, yeah, it was done to me too. This is what happened. And all of a sudden, you got a case built around you. So I say that to say to people who are the black sheep in the family, the scapegoats, the people who are shunned, keep going. Keep going, because I am. The path that I'm on, I'm going to keep going. Because I definitely, this is my life. This is what I'm about. I pray we all be ready. But anyway, thank you for your time, your patience, your love. I love you too. And I hope you have a blessed day.